Do you have some background in finance?
I have.
So
yeah, in the
how does finances play into this whole thing? Is that what's driving it?
Well, actually, it's the state that drove the finances down without, you know, any care or consideration. They would like to bust unions, quite frankly. I mean, the state wants to bust all the unions. They want to bust the teachers' union, which is the big union. And that's the overall goal. That's why they caught the funds, which I think is kind of hard to understand, because in the 90s when we passed the law, when people didn't want to raise their property tax and they approved of the sales tax, it was all supposed to go to the public schools. That's the way it was presented by both the House, the Senate, and the governor at the time. They seem to have ignored that, and they raided that fund to pay, instead of some of the colleges money, community colleges and some of the other state colleges are getting funding instead of from general, from that fund. So they raided that fund, which was supposedly, and I think the general public doesn't really realize that that's what they had approved in the mid-90s, but then they didn't move forward. So what they have done is, schools suffer enough for the fact that we have a declining economy since the last recession, which was almost a depression, and therefore sales tax is down, so revenue is down to begin with. But on top of that, they took some funds away in general, and then they reduced the amount that they allotted back to the schools. So most businesses, if all of a sudden their income went down by the amount that went through the public school, they'd have a lot of difficulty too. And this is a service-oriented business. We are here for the students. It's the students that count, and it's our general public that counts. And I think all the state is doing is undermining their desire to make sure they get the best education for their students. In the long run, they're not giving business a favor, because businesses, when I used to hire people, I wanted well-educated students. And I think that's what the public desires first. So when all you do is undermine the public education by raiding the fund because you want to lower business tax, in the long run you're going to hurt yourself, because business is going to be upset because the level of education has fallen behind, because there isn't enough care.
Anything else you wanted to add in about this whole deal?
No, I think that it's all there. You have to be concerned enough. I think schools should be enraged that they got cut that way. I think the public should know that they got raided. It was more important for business not to pay tax, including property tax. So they're raiding the public sector of the townships, and they're raiding the schools to give tax rebates to people that down the road, 10 years down the road, they're going to regret that they got, because they don't have the level of education and skill that they need from the schools.